let's move over to Edu and his ridiculous interview that he had with Sky Sport. Now, many Arsenal fans still do believe that Edu needs to go. This interview that he made with Sky Sport will make the situation worse or better. I don't know. It will depend on where you stand with Edu, Mikel, Vinay, Kroenke, and probably the Project Young Arsenal. It looks like the Project Young Arsenal was proposed by Edu and Mikel Arteta. We do not know at this point in time why they decided to go for such a project, but probably after this interview, we will know why the two lads decided to go for Project Young Arsenal rather than pushing back Arsenal to the top. Did they get afraid of recruiting older players that could change that could challenge Mikel Arteta? Edu was speaking to Sky, and this is what he absolutely had to say. Edu's exclusive interview, Arsenal transfer policy, his technical director role, and Mikel Arteta discussed. In an exclusive interview with Sky Sports, Arsenal technical director Edu defends the club's transfer policy after their poor start to the season and talks about his own role and that of Mikel Arteta. All right. This would be interesting to read, and I would love to read it. Okay. With Arsenal bottom of the Premier League, technical Edu gives a rare interview to Sky Sports and talks about the club's maligned transfer policy, Mikel Arteta, and more. Right. The Gunners have endured their worst start of the league since 67 years prop up the table and have come under fire for the perceived quality of their signings, not just this summer, but across a number of years at the Emirates Stadium. All right. It was barely 2 seasons ago the club missed out on a Champions League return by a solitary point, and were runners up in the Europa League with this where this year they are out of European football of any sort for the first time since 1995. Now, the last time Arsenal were out of any sort of European football, I was not conceived. I was not conceived because 1995 I wasn't conceived. I was conceived in 1996. And was born in 1997 January. So that is more than 2 decades ago when I was born, and it's more than 2 decades ago when Arsenal last appeared out of. It's like we were swallowed by the Bermuda Triangle because we were nowhere close to the scene on the radars. All right. So Edu, who played for the club between 2001 and 2005, returned 2 years ago in his present role, and here he gives Sky Sports the case for his and Arsenal's defense in an exclusive interview. All right. So he did the interview with Geoff Shreves. And the first question was, what can you tell me about Arsenal's transfer window and the thinking behind it? The club has spent the most money on of any Premier League club, but Arsenal fans are underwhelmed. So this is how we spent top 5. Are they top 5, top 6, top 7 clubs in the transfer window? Arsenal spent a remarkable 156.8 million pounds. Followed by United at 133.7, followed by Manchester City at 100 million, followed by Chelsea at 97 million, buying Romelu Lukaku and bringing in Saul Niguez on a loan deal, which I think was pretty much good business. They have let go of Kat Zuma, and that means they have a little bit closed their gap in the pocket. Good business by Chelsea. Aston Villa, they have spent 93 million after getting a remarkable 100 million from Manchester City, and they reinvested in the squad. They brought in players like Emi Buendia, Leon Bailey, and Danny Ings. Right, and then West Ham, who have actually spent 63 million. Now, the truth is, I don't know how West Ham spent the 63 million, but all I know is that they are good. Like, they are really good. So that is how our clubs have spent. The top 6 clubs to spend the most amount of money, topped by Arsenal, Manchester United, and 2 clubs in Manchester United and City. Edu answering that, answering about what he thinks about our transfer window. He said, yes, I understand the reason, because firstly, they have not seen the team playing together yet. That's one of the reasons, but I think we have to see the wider context than just to see the money around it. We signed 6 players who are under 23. Well, we didn't tell you to sign players under 23, which means a lot in terms of our planning. Normally, people like to see just one window, so I have to say it's the bigger picture, because we started planning this squad a year ago in terms of consolidating the team and trying to get better, and try to get a better foundation. Okay. It says, if you remember, in that period, we renewed Bukayo Saka's contract, and apparently Bukayo Saka's contract runs down in the next 2 years, Edu. And Gabriel Martinelli a year ago, with the intention to get that kind of base in the team. In a 1 year period, we signed 10 players, and 7 of the 10 are under 23. We renewed 7 players in this period as well, just in the first team. 5 of the 7 are under 23 as well. So we are running 2 projects of under 23 at this fucking club, aren't we, Edu? Right. So he said also as well that why did we do that? Because we have a reason to try to create a good foundation, and then one day maybe we are going to sign 1 or 2 players only. But after that, it's impossible to sign. But after that, it's impossible to sign 1 or 2 players only, because we have to do a lot. Because we have a lot to do. We have to balance the squad better. We have to recruit the players with the right characteristics, the right profile to make the squad better, more solid, and much more consistent, because last season we suffered with consistency. Now I want to give Mikel Arteta and the board a much better squad. Now, when you say you want to give us a much better squad, we understand when you speak about it, because we have been fucking asking for a better squad all our lives. But how come we do not have a central midfielder in our quest to get a better squad? How come we do not have a better right back in our quest to get a better squad? How come we don't have a better goal scoring midfielder? They could be under 23. We do not argue with you, Edu. You have decided to go with project under 23. You could get Kamavinga. He's under 23 probably, isn't he? You could get who around? Getting anyone who's under 23, but get the job done. You failed at that. But he says he wants to give us a better squad. That's what he says. So if you look at the players that we have signed and their age, Takehiro Tomiyasu, 19.8 million pounds, is 22 years of age. Aaron Ramsdale is 23 years of age, 30 million pounds. Martin Odegaard is 22 years of age, 34 million pounds. Ben White is 23 years of age, 15 million pounds. Aubameyang Lokonga is 21, as well as Nuno Tavares as well. Anderlecht, Sambi joins us from Anderlecht for 15 million pounds. Fucking hell, this is not 15. How did they do this? I mean, I thought, okay, this is what we paid up front. Wow, wait. This is guaranteed payments. We are paying 30 for Aaron Ramsdale, guaranteed payments. Okay, all right. Nuno Tavares, 8 million pounds, and Sambi Lokonga, 15 million pounds. That is how we spend our money, right? Okay, and GS says it's clear. It's clear there is a shift in transfer policy in terms of buying young players that have the value in the future. Is that because previously the transfer dealings have been poor? You've been left with players on high wages with no selling value, and like the case of Willian, his contract was terminated. Has that been a factor in your thinking with this new policy? It's a great question. And Edu says, yes, if you see, we have 21 players exit over the year. Okay, all of those were terminated, or we tried to sell, or we tried to loan, or we with an obligation to buy. We tried to clear a bit of the squad and bring in some new faces. We had 21 outgoings and signed 10 players in 1 year. So 21 changes, it is a lot. It's more, he says, it's more than a squad in 1 year. But this was the intention. Again, when we are talking about the base and the foundation, we have to create it again to one day just go and sign 1 or 2 players. All right. Another question from Shreves. The problem with that for many Arsenal fans is, let's say from the next the 6 new signings you made, probably only 2 of them would go straight into the first team. So how much has this window improved Arsenal's first team right now? It's a good question, isn't it? Really good question. Edu, you see the strategy for every single name. I can explain to you the reasons. Aaron Ramsdale, for example, he's a very good football player and he has the potential to be a big part of the team in the future. Gia says for the future. Edu says for the future of the team. What he wants to do is to balance that position, and why do you bring him in? We already have one player there to play games with Ban Leno, but we have to bring in someone in to help for the future. Then at right back, we just signed Taikiro Tomiyasu. Right, he is someone who can come here and play straight away, because he was loaned, because we loaned Hector in to allow space for him to come and feature straight away. That's the plan. That is the plan. But of course, it's up to Mikel if he plays or not. Okay. And then if you go to Nuno Tavares, he has the same characteristics, because we have Kieran Tierney there to play. We needed someone to cover for him. Okay. I don't need to look at Gary Neville's comments. Don't need to. Shreves says so they it's another question. So they are, if you like, at the moment, reserves. You can only really say Martin Odegaard and Ben White would be expected to be first team starters. So of the 6, only 2 will improve the team. Edu says we suffered last year because we lost players and we didn't really have good backups to play games. I believe we need a squad to win games. We need a squad to be in good position at the end of the season, because it is not only about the first 11. Again, we need a foundation. We need players to play, and then we need players to cover for the first 11. Now, let's put it in the right context, or into context. For example, in the midfield, you have Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey. So far, for me, Mikel, for me and Mikel, it doesn't make sense to sign another player to be on top of them if they are the ones that are going to be playing. That is fucking not making sense, Edu. That is not making sense. How many midfielders? Donny van der Beek is rotting at the Manchester United bench. They have Fred, they have McTominay, they have Pogba. How many midfielders do Manchester City have? Chelsea, they brought in Saul Niguez. It doesn't make sense, Edu. It's a good explanation. I mean, like good PR, but not one that can really bite into my skin. Not really. That's why we chose Aubameyang Lokonga to help them. And I think Lokonga is going to be a starter, bro. I think Lokonga should be a starter. Definitely. If you go up, we have Alexander Lacazette, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Bukayo Saka, Nicola Pepe, and Gabriel Martinelli. I want to see them playing together. In the number 10 position, we saw a gap there because we just have Emile Smith-Rowe. We needed a number 10 with the same quality to be there, help, and play. Where we needed to spend big money, for me and Mikel, that was in the center back position, because we needed someone to fill that position. David Louis was leaving, and this was one where we needed someone to come here and straight away have an impact on the team with the right profile of what we believe for the short, medium, and long term. Okay, that was Ben White. That is why we went there and signed Ben White to give the squad what the squad needed. Okay, then thank you. So if you look at the incomings that Edu has made, signed Thomas Partey, 27 years of age, signed Martin Odegaard, signed Matt Ryan, signed Omar Rekik, signed Nuno Tavares, Albert Lokonga, Odegaard on a permanent, Ramsdale, and Tomiyasu. If you look at these, all these, we only have 2 players above the age of 23. Above the age of 23. Okay. Okay. We still have more. The likes of Runason, Danny Ceballos, Gabriel, and a couple of others. Really don't want to dive into that. Okay. Here's another question for Edu. Do you understand, though, why Arsenal fans would prefer, say, if you spent 150 million to buy 3 oven-ready players who could go straight into the first team with maybe Premier League experience, or certainly first team experience elsewhere, that will improve the team now? As you know, right now the team has not scored a goal, has not registered a single point, and sits rock bottom of the Premier League. Edu says, I really understand that, but I would also like them to understand the reason and the direction we are going as a club. Look, you want the fans to understand the reason and direction, but there must be there must be rock bottom evidence that there is something you're trying to do. At the moment, you've signed players, but we do not see what you want to do. We do not see what exactly they want to do. So I'm not buying into the crap, and I'm buying into the bullshit at the moment, right? But he says, of course, it has hurt us to be in that situation. We are hurt. I am hurt. I don't want to see the club there, but I want to see the team playing together. To be fair, we've had 3 games, and I haven't seen the team playing together yet. So I want to see the signings, and I want to see the squad prepare. All 3 games we have played against Brentford, Chelsea, and Manchester City. Unfortunately, we had some difficult moments in terms of COVID and injuries. Excuses. You love excuses, Edu, just like Mikel, don't you? I want to see them play together, and then let's judge the team when they play together. Then after that, no problem, judge us then. You say judge us until the end of the window. If I'm to judge you, you did crap. I understand the situation we are in now. We understand the situation we are in now is really tough. It's not an excuse, but let's judge the team when they play together. Definitely, we will be very happy to judge the team when they play together, Edu. We'll be very happy to judge. How much is Mikel Arteta on board with the direction of the club? Is going, because any manager is judged on results. If I'm Arteta, I understand you are planning for the future, but if results don't improve, I could be down the road here. For example, go and get me a Romelu Lukaku, somebody like that. How much does he understand? And Eddie says the case here is we really believe in the players we have in the squad. Maybe other people don't, but we do. If we start to see the squad together, we believe in the squad. I sit with Mikel and we see the squad. We have a striker there who delivers to us up to 25 goals every single season. We have another one who delivers 15 to 20 goals every season. Wow. How does he see these things? I've known. Okay. We have 2 very powerful young players from the academy in Saka and Smith Rowe. We believe in them and our squad. Okay. Okay. So it looks like Arsenal is gonna be. If you look at the average ages, if you look at the average ages in the Premier League, Arsenal is gonna have one of the youngest squads, followed by Brentford, followed by Southampton, and our squad is gonna be 25 years, 0.31. The oldest squad. If you look at Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester City, they are almost in the same region. And if you look at Chelsea, right, is this City? Their average age is 26.99. That means they are balanced, young, experienced, mid-term, short-term, long-term. I think that is the best strategy to go for. I don't think the best strategy is to pile a bunch of young kids. We are not AFC Porto, because we do not have a Jose Mourinho. Right. Okay. Shiv says, as you know, Arteta is under immense pressure right now. Also, your own job has come under criticism. The criticism of you is you haven't done this job in Europe before and you do not know the European market. What do you say to that criticism? And also, what and when will it be where you can judge, where you can be judged for what you've done, your policy at the club? Definitely. And Eddie said, I respect all the pressure. I came in from Corinthians and then the Brazilian national team where there was unbelievable pressure just as here. No, bro. Come on. You're not buying players for the national team. And Corinthians is not Arsenal. It's not Brazilian league is not it's not European European football. So you do not talk about pressure there as at the same magnitude. I understand the fans, I understand the reason and accept that but we will need a bit of time to do what we plan to do. I know this type of work, when we are talking about signings and needing patience has Arsenal fans a lot, but it is the reality. That's why when I say to you, we have to create a good foundation and create a good foundation and to create a good foundation, you need time. Is that an excuse or asking for more time? Jay says, but you don't get time in football, don't you? And Edu says, I know, but that's why you make the decisions. We believe in our squad now, but we believe this squad can be even stronger for the future. My job is to think about short term, but also the long term as well. How we are going to plan for that kind of journey, because if we now sign 1 or 2 players and we have 3, 4, or 5 gaps to fill, people are then going to look at us and say, guys, what are you doing? You've spent a lot of money on certain positions, but what about here, and here? The balance is not easy to get, but again, we believe in what we are doing. Talking about my role, I understand the pressure and I understand pressure on me, Mikel, the board, and the club, because the situation we are in now is absolutely unacceptable. Right. So that is Edu and his comments. It's been absolutely wonderful speaking to you on this podcast. Allow me call it the first. I mean, I've enjoyed myself. I mean, I didn't really think that doing it this way would give me a little bit, of a fresh mind, and I think it just did. So we're gonna be doing this on a daily. Make sure you tune in. I think we should do this. I'll be uploading this podcast on a daily basis at 4 p.m. Oh, 4 p.m. is way too late. 3 p.m. Let's do it 3 p.m. Right? So 3 p.m. we shall be having our beautiful podcast where we discuss all things Arsenal. Don't forget, it's called the Believable the Super Arsenal podcast. All right. The amazing Super Arsenal podcast. And I'll speak to you in the next one. The next one, we will look at our best 11 because time just ran out. Love you so much. Let's meet on the other end.